Pastor Jenice Podcast, moments of faith and inspiration. This is the perfect place for anyone seeking encouragement and inspiration from the Word of God. Join Pastor Jenice as she shares her wisdom and teachings on prophetic topics that are sure to enlighten and empower you on your journey of faith. With each episode, you'll gain a deeper understanding of the Bible and be equipped with practical tools to apply its teachings to your daily life. So tune in and let's grow together in faith and inspiration.
Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Pastor Jenice, and welcome to the Pastor Jenice Podcast. We have another amazing show for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're tuning in live on Facebook, we want you to be engaged, ask questions, show us some love. But this is going to be an amazing conversation that we have today. For many of you that are following us on podcast streams, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeart, Amazon, you name it, Podbean, you name it. You know that we are in season 3 and we are dedicating this to everyone that is coming on season 3, sharing their testimony. I believe that other people that we are connected with need to know our stories and need to know the goodness of God. When you hear testimonies, it just encourages you and lets you know that you're not alone in this journey, that there are other people that have been through what you've been through, are going through what you're going through, or will go through. And so our testimonies are a powerful way for us to share the love of Jesus Christ, share and witness our faith to other people. And so today, I have a very special guest, a friend of mine, a co-laborer in Christ, Pastor Carlton Flora with us. And I am just so excited to have him and to have this conversation with him. So welcome, Pastor Carlton.
Thank you.
Awesome. So we're going to get into it, you all. I'm excited about hearing his story, but just a little bit of what we're going to be diving into today. I want you to be encouraged because he's going to share his experience of just being a regular kid, right? A regular person, but then experiencing a profound walk with the Lord where God transformed his life and he received a divine call to become a pastor. And so we want him to walk us through that testimony from being a young man all the way to where he is now and how that has, how God has transformed his life in accepting his call. So Pastor Carlton, tell us a little bit about your story, sir.
Yeah. Well, as you can tell, born and raised in South Georgia, a little old town called Tifton, Georgia, which is just about 40, 50 miles south. 75, 75 goes straight down, and it's just before the Georgia-Florida line. So
Okay.
pretty deep South Georgia.
Oh, wow. You're further than me in Jackson.
Yes. Way down there. And born and raised down there, just typical old country redneck boy that, just like I said, just typical getting into stuff and all this. But back in, you talked about a little bit back in school, I never liked school.
Really?
I couldn't wait to get out of school.
So even as a young child,
Oh, no, this is more like in the junior high school years.
Okay.
Because once I got old enough to work, and back when I was coming up, you had the back of fields, you had stuff like that you could go work as soon as you turned like 14 or 15, sometimes a little younger.
Okay.
But about that age, you could start working in the fields during the summer, make you a little extra money and, spending money, stuff like that, instead of sitting around the house all day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I did. I had a couple of different folks that would work. If I wasn't over here working at one job, at one time I had 3 jobs during the summer. I was bouncing back and forth. If I wasn't at one, I was at the other.
Wow.
So I learned how pretty quick that, hey, I can make money. I like this. Typical teenager. But like I said, I was typical, just a old country boy. Boots, Western shirts, belt buckles, And my wife is, she's had a time, but she's kind of changed me over the years on some of that.
She changed your style a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. She's still trying. I bless her heart. But anyway, just a typical teenager in South Georgia. And of course, the older I got, I figured out, you make money, and I got in my head, I can make money. I don't need school. Really the only reason I went to school in junior high and high school was to meet friends, hang out and stuff like that, just like a typical teenager would. And but I didn't really care. My wife would tell you it wasn't the fact that I couldn't do it. And a lot of people told me that. I was actually I had the smarts. I just didn't have the desire.
Gotcha.
And so I just kind of went through the motions. I hung out, went to school to hang out, and this, that, and other. And then, in high school, typical teenager, became an alcoholic.
Wow.
In high school. Did a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And just, got to the point where I knew everything about everything. You couldn't tell me nothing. You couldn't do nothing with me. And, and all that. And so that was kind of me back in the day.
Now, did you, Pastor Carlton, was you the only child?
No. And that's kind of interesting you asked that question. I have a sister that I grew up with. She's 2 years older than I am.
Okay.
She still lives down there in Tifton, Georgia, with my mom and my dad. And she is a retired school teacher.
Okay.
Of all things. She's retired. She's proud of her. She's doing well, her kids and grandkids. But I was raised with my mom. My grandmother had a lot to do with my upbringing. Okay. And I never knew my biological father.
Gotcha. Okay.
I won't get into that because that's a pretty long story.
Okay.
But basically, I was raised with my mom and my stepdad. And he's the only dad I knew.
Okay.
And
so you did have a father figure in your life?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And you look back, good, bad, indifferent, whatever.
Yeah.
He did the best he could. We didn't always get along in my younger years, especially when I got to the teenage years where I got out and started acting crazy and wild days and rebellious days and all that kind of stuff. But he was good. He was good to us. And over the years, we've mended a lot of broken bridges between us. He's and I have shared this with some people there at church. He's 83 years old. Up until the last 2 years, his health has been ordinary.
Wow.
Good.
Wow.
But he does have dementia now.
Okay.
And so we're kind of dealing with him with that. But I've got 4 stepbrothers. When he married my mother, he had 4 sons.
Okay.
And then, believe it or not, about 10 years ago, this girl reached out to me, come to find out she is my sister from my biological.
Wow. Wow.
So I've got 2 sisters from my biological father. One I've met kind of and worked on a relationship and building that, and the other one I haven't had the opportunity yet.
Okay.
So small family to start off with, but it's grown over the
years.
It's kind of wild.
Okay.
But
so you were saying you got into all of these things while you were in high school, Mr. Know-it-all, drugs, testing this, testing that, alcohol, and then from there, what happened?
Well, and I'm gonna go back and say, I met my wife Kathy. We met as she was going into high school. I was still in junior high.
Okay.
But we met and we've been together ever since. But she's took a lot of journeys with me through that period of time and this, that, and other. But I didn't graduate. I had enough. I wanted to go make money, so I quit school. I went back later and got my GED, but I quit school and went to work. When she graduated, we got married. About a year later, we started having kids. So I've got 3 kids. I've got, oh my God, 7, 8, 9, 8 or 9 grandkids.
Wow.
I
You
just said
lost count?
them up. But anyway, and so and that's all great. And like I said, we have it's been kind of you looking back, it's sometimes it's like, what in the world? But you look back and you see God's hand in all of it.
Yeah.
But my grandmother, like I said, she was real instrumental in my upbringing, and I give her credit for a lot of my values and a lot of my ways that I have
Hmm.
coming up. But after me and Kathy got married, we still in that small town.
Hmm.
It had the small town mentality, of course. But my grandmother, uh, she come down with leukemia,
Okay.
and a year, yeah, right at about a year, year and a half after being diagnosed, she passed away.
Wow. And that was a big impact on you and your family.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Just take your
But
time. Take your time. This is real life. This is real life.
she she was she meant a lot to me, obviously.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, but uh,
And this
my
is your mom's mom or your dad's
yes,
mom?
I'm sorry. Yeah, this is my mom's mom. My
Okay.
dad's or my stepdad's family. I knew them, but I didn't really know them.
Gotcha.
We wasn't that close, and his and my dad's dad passed away when I was kind of young, so I didn't really get to know him that good.
Gotcha. Okay.
But and my granddad passed away when I was 3 or 4.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
um, and that's another long story. But he spoiled us rotten. I do
Okay.
remember he spoiled us rotten. But anyway, my grandmother, get back to that story. Um, she was very, very close. We were very close.
Hmm.
She
Hmm.
was and I don't mean to be mean by the way this is going to come out,
Hmm.
but she was more of a mama to me sometimes than my mother was.
Sure.
We
Totally
just had
understand.
that relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when she passed away, uh, it wrecked my world.
Mm. Mm.
Didn't I'm sorry, I
You're fine. You're fine.
didn't mean to go there, but anyway, it wrecked my world, and I
Hmm.
was in a tailspin,
Wow.
and had a had a lot of family that helped out and tried to help out,
Hmm. Hmm.
but you know, till you go through that, it's kind of
Hmm.
hard to
Yeah.
understand it
Hmm.
or
Now,
deal
how
with it.
how old was you at this
I
time?
was I was 20 years old then,
Okay. Okay.
so I didn't, you know,
Yeah.
I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know what to do,
Sure.
but
Sure.
like I said, it wrecked my world. It messed me up.
Mm.
And the local church where we around where we live, a lot of my family went to church. We had went to church on and off
Okay. Okay.
kind of during my upbringing. So I knew about church, I knew about God, but I
Hmm.
didn't know God.
Okay.
And we only went on special occasions. I went, there was a little brief time during my early teenage years that I went to the youth group and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
it was nothing. It was just go every once in a while, go back and do my other thing.
Yeah.
Um, and like I said, later in high school, I just took that path that took me way where I was supposed
Mm.
to be.
Way
But
off
then,
course.
when my grandmother passed away, and like I said, I had my first, our first young Samantha, and I just didn't know what to do.
Mm.
And
And we'll say hi to Samantha because Samantha's watching now.
She's my oldest, but very proud of her. And she's got two good boys. I love them to death.
Yay.
They do good. They live in Macon. But through, like I said, through some family members, they tried and they helped. They did help a little bit. And my mother come up and said, well, the church, the local church, a lot of my family were in that church. It was an old Southern Baptist church.
Okay.
And, my mother come up and said, they were real good to us during all this. It would be nice if you just kind of went and one Sunday and said thank you. And that's kind of how that started.
Okay.
And
but you wasn't interested. You really wasn't interested in being in church and going that route.
No, ma'am. I was running it just as hard as I could in the other direction. Wide open, I was running. But anyway, we went, and they had a younger pastor there at the time. I met him, and we kind of clicked.
Okay.
And we started going on a regular basis, and I got saved probably about 6 months later.
Wow.
I got saved shortly thereafter. Kathy got saved.
Okay.
And we started that church, or became members of that church and everything. And there's probably maybe 6 months to a year later, I knew there was something God wanted me to do. I just didn't know what. I was to that point. Okay, I got saved. I joined the church.
Now what?
Coming regularly. There's something more, but I don't know what it is. What's going on?
Yeah.
So I talked to our pastor and everything, and he said, gave me some advice, of course, and told me to go home and pray about it. Went home, prayed about it, and I just got this confirmation of you're going to preach.
Really?
Of calling preacher. And I said, Lord, no.
Yeah.
There's got to be a mistake somewhere.
Yeah.
There's no way. But it was overwhelming confirmation. I couldn't deny it. Yeah. So, started, I went to the pastor, told him. Some of the family were supportive, some wasn't. Some were like, really? This guy?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, is this the same kid?
The one that didn't like school, the one that left school into everything. This kid is gonna preach.
Right. So started there, and he helped me out a lot. And we went, I preached a lot in South Georgia.
Okay.
And stuff like that. And it was probably, I don't know how many years, several years later, met a good friend of mine who pastors the church where we used to live down in South Georgia. He now pastors that church that we left when we moved up to North Georgia or Central Georgia.
Wow. Okay.
And I'll try to make this real quick because
you're fine. We have time.
I feel like I'm babbling, but anyway, met up with a pastor, Church of God pastor in South Georgia. He's well known. And he was with this, for simple terms, I call it a retreat.
Okay.
And I knew I needed something because we got to the point we were kind of just going through the motions. We'd go to church, do what we were supposed to, and all this stuff. But it was like, okay, here again.
Just a cycle.
There's got to be something more.
Yeah.
What is it? And I talked to him. He said, you need to come to this retreat. And it was the guys went one weekend and skip a week, and then the following weekend the wives went.
Okay.
And it's an organization called Tres Dias. I don't know if you've heard of it or not, but it's in Lizella, just outside of Macon.
Okay.
And I had no idea what to expect. I need something, and I was thinking, okay, good. I'll get to go spend a weekend by myself, just praying and reading the word. And it wasn't that.
God has something else for you.
It was a program, more a retreat, but for simple terms, we'll just call it a retreat.
Okay.
And I had an encounter with it.
Wow.
I was saved. I was called. I was doing everything I thought I was supposed to do.
Sure.
But until that weekend, it just knocked my socks off because, and I still have a vivid image in my head of the encounter that I had.
Wow.
And there's a lot of pictures. You probably get in your head the picture
Mm-hmm.
of Jesus just standing there with his hands reached out.
Mm.
And that just changed everything. I
Wow.
mean, it was an encounter like no other. Obviously, and it should be. I
Yep.
mean,
Yep.
we're dealing with God here. We're
That's
dealing
it.
with Jesus Christ, so it's got to be.
Yeah.
So it kind of, next level
Mm-hmm.
deal. So, and Kathy went, and I'm not going to get into a whole lot of her story, but when I dropped her off that weekend,
Yeah.
she was so mad at me that there wasn't any weapons around. But she had in her head as soon as I dropped her off and I left, she was going to walk home. And we lived
Mm.
hours away at the time. We were still living in South Georgia at the time.
Sure.
But I went to pick her up at the end of the weekend and I didn't know what to expect. I knew what I went through. And I
Woo.
knew that God had a reason for her, but I wasn't sure what took place and what was going to be her reaction and stuff.
Yeah.
And went to pick her up, and they come into the room to have a little like graduation type thing. And she was jumping up and down, shouting. I'm
Mm.
like, yes. And that was kind of, we went back home. We're full of the spirit, we're
Mm-hmm.
on fire, we're ready to go.
Yeah.
And nothing was the same. And that was kind of the process. And we went from the Baptist to the Church of God.
Okay.
And I started the process there of getting my license and everything through the Church of God. So
Okay.
it's kind of been a long process,
Mm-hmm.
fun at times, great at times.
Mm-hmm.
You got your mountains and you got your valleys. As
Yeah.
you've got your great times, and you got times you're like, Lord, what have I done?
Yeah.
How
Did I
did
make
I
a
get
mistake?
here
Did
to
I
this
hear you
point?
right?
What have I done wrong? This,
Yeah.
that, and the other. And like I said, it's good and it's bad, but it's overall, it's a journey I wouldn't have changed for anything in the
Wow.
world. It's great. But then I got a job, and the same time all this is going on, I got into firefighting.
Okay.
And got a chance to make a career out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was working at the fire department at home and got a chance to. It's it's kind of funny, but it's not. Back then, you didn't make anything fight fire.
Okay. Okay.
Even if I mean, we were hurting.
Now, was this your desire to go into firefighting, or is just kind of something that you stumbled upon?
Kind of stumbled upon it.
Okay.
Be honest with you, I started volunteering down South Georgia because we had a lot of volunteer fire departments, and
Mm-hmm.
because it wasn't as developed as it is today. I guess it's
Mm-hmm.
not. But I just did it to get a guy off my back. There was a guy who was a chief of the volunteer department there close to where I lived, and I worked with him. He kept, you got to come to me. You got to come. So I went just to get him off my back.
Okay.
And I wound up making a career out of it. Long story short. But anyway, I had got a chance to go work for the state up at the Georgia Safety Training Center in Forsyth,
Okay.
where they teach law enforcement, fire, you name it,
Mm-hmm.
DNR, all that. So I got a chance to go in there and as an instructor to teach firefighters.
Wow.
And I was there for about 7 years, and I taught just about all aspects of how to be a firefighter and do this and do that.
Mm-hmm.
And love that career. Opened up the door. Looking back now, it opened a lot. I got a lot of opportunities. I got to
Wow.
travel. I went all over the state of Georgia. I've been to Indianapolis twice. I've been to
Wow.
Wisconsin. I can't remember how many times. Been out to Texas. So it opened up a lot, not
Yeah.
just in Georgia, but it opened up a lot.
It
Also,
was beyond your expectation.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a blessing because it was of course, that pay grade. The only thing
Mm-hmm.
is we had to move.
Gotcha.
We had to move, and they remember said earlier that small town mentality.
Yeah.
We were lost when we moved, and this was moving up to Forsyth, which is just above Macon,
Mm-hmm.
which being
Yeah.
from Jackson. And it was still a small town, but it was not our small town.
Yeah.
So it was an adjustment. But like I said, it was a great opportunity, and through that, the Lord, I said, the Lord gave me the opportunity to hone in a lot of skills, like standing in front of people, talking,
Mm-hmm.
teaching, um, learning lesson plans, doing outline, all this kind of good stuff.
Essentially what you was doing in your career was helping in ministry, was helping you in ministry.
Yes. And had a great time. Was under a pastor there in Macon for a while. It was a good sized church.
Mm-hmm.
We found. And then at the end of that is when I started back I left at the end of 2007 with state and went back online at went to Sandy Springs Fire Department. Worked there a year. Then when Johns Creek started up in 2008, at the end of 2008, I joined up with them and been there ever since. But during that process, after I left the state, we had a pastor come up from South Georgia, wanted to start a church plant. I helped him with that. About 2.5 years later, he went back to South Georgia, and it just kind of fell apart. After that. And when we moved, to Henry County.
Okay.
And that's when another trial or another stumbling block hit. We visited a lot of churches. We found some that were close, but nothing where God wanted us.
Sure.
And two-part, kind of like a two-part. This to explain how I got saved and how I got my calling, which was great.
Yeah.
But there's an important thing that to this part that I feel like somebody's is listening or somebody's going to listen needs to hear this.
Sure.
I don't know who it is. Don't know.
Yep. We got a lot of people. We got a lot of people tuned in.
Right. But this part was a real learning experience because we looked for churches. We couldn't find one that we felt was right for us, or we felt that the Lord wanted us to. And I had gotten to where I had buried myself in work.
Okay.
It was a hit and miss going to church, things like nature.
Now, was that intentional or not?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
It was unintentional. Yeah.
Okay.
And it just kind of gradually snowballed and got worse. And we were at the last straw. And Kat said, well, let's go back to New Covenant. Try that. We had been there before under a different pastor.
Okay.
It just wasn't for us. And we didn't know that they had Bishop Chris had come in and they had changed a lot of stuff.
Gotcha.
And it was totally different. We went back and going back there, visit a few times, and everything just fell into place. And we joined up and become partners, and that's where we're at now. But before we went there, I was to the point in my ministry to where I was ready to quit.
Now, you at this time you're already a pastor. You've gone through the full program and already licensed.
Yeah, I've been through MIP. I was exhorted. I wasn't. I had since I've been at New Covenant, I got my ordained license, which was about a year and a half, 2 years ago or something.
Okay.
It was recently since I've been there.
Okay.
But I had gotten up to the extraordinary, and I'd been through all the class, MIP, everything that you're supposed to do. But let me go back. When we moved up here from Macon, I have a lot of resources down South Georgia because that's where I was born and raised.
Yeah. When
we moved to Macon, didn't have those resources. Nobody knew me up here. I didn't know anybody.
It was like starting over.
Yes, it was. And we was up under a pastor there in Macon. and he helped us out a lot, very supportive. And then when we left that church to help the church plant, uh, kind of lost that connection. It just kind of dwindled out. Um, uh, and I knew that pastor, went up and met the overseer at the time, which was Dr. Walker, a good man. He was the overseer. But anyway, so when that church plant finally dissolved, we started looking. And here again, I'm back to no resources.
Sure. Yeah.
Because you've got to have resources, and as well as I do, whichever denomination you are part of, or whichever church you're a part of, you're under somebody. There is an order to everything.
Exactly.
And you're going to be up under somebody, and you need that for a lot of different reasons. But you also need those resources because you've got to. If nobody knows you, they don't know what you're capable of. They don't know your story. They don't know what God is doing in you or what to do in you. So you got to have the resource, and you're always going to be up under somebody, which never have a problem with that. But I didn't have that. So, and as we just kind of fell out of church, lost all that. So when we started back with, when we got back into church with New Covenant, everything fell back in place. And God told me, I'm not done with you.
Wow. Because you said at this point, and everybody that's tuning in, thank you for tuning in. We are here having a conversation with Pastor Carlton Flora, who's sharing his story of and how God has called him. And so, Pastor, now you're at the place where you was about to give up. Just throw it all in. Just forget this call. And God said He's not done with you.
Yeah, I mean, I never really gave up on God. I gave up on the ministry and church because trying to think of how to put it. There is some support for pastors, for people in the ministry, whether it's music ministry, pastor, whatever the case. There is not enough support out there for people in ministry. We do pretty good of membership in a local church in a local area and stuff like that, but there's not a lot of support. Nobody, and not that they had to, not that it was. I felt like, hey, I'm out here all alone. Nobody's throwing a lifeline. But nobody was throwing a lifeline. Where's Cork at? I don't know. Where's Pastor Carlton at? I don't know. So that area right there is something that the we have to work on as a church, as a church body, as a whole, and not just denomination, not just this church, that church, but the body of Christ as a whole has got to work on. We got to do a better job of supporting each other and reaching out. So and that was hard. So when we joined back up with New Covenant and got back in the swing of things, I told the Lord, I said, I don't care what it is. I just want to serve you. I want to worship you and praise you. And, forgive me for missing the mark. Forgive me for being stupid and all this. I just want to serve whatever it is. And we had went back home for a visit my folks, and went to visit the church where my buddy, my good friend is pastor in that. And he had a message for us. He said, God's not through with you. You're not done. He didn't call you in the pastoring for nothing. So that was
your confirmation.
Yes, that was the second confirmation. God's not done with you. So it's been an experience, and I am learning so much more at the next level. And and God's opening doors. I see a lot of stuff, and like we was talking about earlier, the electronic age. I'm behind the 8 ball on that, but I'm trying to get caught up on it. But it's just it's just a wonderful thing that God's doing to us, and that's my thing. It's not about me. It's about God.
Yeah.
And I just want to serve him. Just want to love on him. Just want him to love on me.
Yeah.
But like I said earlier, and I feel real strong about this, even when I was thinking about what the word am I going to say?
Yeah.
But, how many, but somebody out there's at the point, whatever their calling is, or where they are at in life, they're at the same point, they're ready to give up for whatever reason. Don't. God's not done with you. I'm having proof of that.
Wow.
Not that I think I'm all that by no means, but I've been there. I've been to the point to where I felt like I was on a desert island. I was, several times back when my grandmother died.
Yeah.
And through my journey as a pastor or a preacher, and that's a rough feeling when you're out there and there's nobody to turn to, nobody to talk to. And everybody has got to find, and let me say this, and you as well know, but wherever you're at in life, you've got to have this one person or some people that you can trust, that you can go talk to.
Yep, that you could be vulnerable with.
Yes. South Georgia, I had that.
Okay.
And I have that now, because there's several people in the church I don't mind sharing with, and I don't mind, them sharing with me and being a vent or being there to help them. But there was a period of time that was non-existent, and that is a lonely place to be. But don't give up. God called you. He doesn't make mistakes. God called you to whatever he's wanting to do through you and where he's wanting to carry you. So don't give up.
Don't give
up. Going forward, keep pushing. Find somebody that will, as Bishop Chris used to say, I'll get it out in a minute. Find somebody that will share your vision and that will support you and help you, pray for you, pray over you. But don't give up, because, like I said, I was there. I was to that point.
Yeah.
And thank God he got my attention and got me back in the groove of things, because not that everything is, streets of gold down here.
Right, exactly.
Perfect. But my outlook is a lot different.
Yeah. So a lot of times, Pastor, I like to say he doesn't change the situation when we want him to, but he'll change us in the situation.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And the older I get, I'm sure that's got a lot to do with the way I look at things and stuff. But I just, it's just don't give up.
Don't give up. Don't give up. So, Pastor, just to bring people that are just, tuning in and joining, here you are, young boy, didn't like school, get into alcohol, trying all these things, drop out of school, go back, get your GED, have an encounter with the Lord. He calls you into ministry. People didn't believe it, but the hand of God was on your life. And then you get to this point where God is moving you in your career. But at the same time, ministry is kind of suffering, and you get to a point where you want to give up, but God says, I'm not through with you yet. So, what was it like for you when you was at that place where I really don't have anyone to, bounce my thoughts off of, to go to for support? Did that make your relationship with God, did that draw you closer to God, or was there a strain in your relationship with God during that time?
Well, for me, it was kind of a strain. I knew he was there, but it was like there was, because I was struggling with some things, spiritually, mentally, and I know God in his word, God wants us to go to him. Absolutely. He wants to be that person that we confide in. He wants to be that person that we turn to when there's nobody else, when you're in a desert place. But the human side, the fleshy side of us, is when you don't have anybody.
Yeah.
There, I mean, I've got the kids. I've got Kathy. But sometimes you need. I don't want to say that that's not enough. I don't want to use that terminology, but sometimes you just need that person or that group that you can go to and just talk to, pray with, vent, stuff like that. Because, after a while, it's like Kathy, I love her to death. She loves me to death, but I know there's times she's going like,
Lord, please send him somebody.
yes.
But I mean, that's biblical. David had Jonathan. Jonathan had David. Elijah had Elisha. So yeah, those relations. Timothy and Paul. So we do need those people in our lives. Yeah, absolutely.
But and I'm learning networking. Something I didn't. There was a process as me coming through my calling. But like I said, it was basically you're up under a pastor. He kind of takes you up under his wing and just kind of wings it. He just teaches you what he knows and kind of a little bit of his experience. But other than that, there's no.
Yeah.
There's a lot of lacking in there because you don't know where to turn. And there's hopefully we're doing better. We're not there yet. I think we got a long way to go. But I mean, when you're in that place, you just you feel all alone. You don't know where to turn. You sit there and you're wrestling with your thoughts. And sometimes you just need somebody to go like, hey, straighten up,
Yeah, wake up.
Yeah, wake up, I'm right here, But it's you got to have somebody. Don't give up. And make sure that you have somebody you can be vulnerable with.
Yeah.
Whether it is your wife, your spouse, or a friend, or somebody at church. You got to have that. And we've got to do a better job. And if I get every opportunity that I get from here on to where I can help people with their calling, whether they're young, whether they're old, or they're coming up through the ranks, however it is, that I can help them and support them, I'm going to do it because we've got to do a better job of mentoring our young people.
Yeah, absolutely.
We talked about it in church before a lot there, and Pastor Marquette, the way it used to be when we was coming up, a lot of things we used to do in church, we don't do anymore.
It's totally different.
The elders, the elders, the deacons, the wiser people of the church are not passing down this stuff to the younger generation. Now the younger generation is on fire now. I'm telling you, but they still need that guidance.
Guidance,
the wisdom.
Yeah, the wisdom.
Because I say it kind of as a joke, but if I knew now what when I was younger,
I
think it'd be a whole lot different. Well, there's a reason because God didn't want it that way.
And
stuff. Absolutely. But those you get, hopefully you get a lot wiser. You get, you think about things, you see things a little different.
Sure. So, Pastor Carlton, what would you say to the younger you, in high school, then your 20s, you lose your grandma who's close to you and you're going through all of this turmoil. What would you say to the younger you?
Well, back in my high school days, I would have, if I could go back and talk to, I would tell them to buckle down, but do what you got to do. Because really, high school, 3 or 4 years of high school is not that long. Once you get out in the world, those days are gone. You can't go back. But I wished I would have buckled down and graduated and done like I was supposed to in school. But that was the biggest thing.
Sure.
And the funny thing is since I have been married and quit school, I have been in more school. And my wife teases me about this all the time. I'm always in some type of class or something, whether it's career-wise or church-wise. I'm always in some kind of class. I'm always learning this, that, and that, and the other. And I used to hate history. I love history now.
Wow.
I don't, I can't explain it.
Yeah.
But, things like that. But
Yeah.
I would tell them, just buckle down. I'll tell anybody, buckle
Mhm.
down, do what you got to do,
Mhm.
get through school. If you want to go to college, and I'm not downplaying going to college,
Sure.
please don't get wrong.
Sure.
It's not for everybody.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
But if you want to go to trade school, if you want to go to college, by all
Mhm.
means, do that. But
Mhm.
buckle down and take advantage of every chance you get,
Opportunity. Yeah.
because it's going to pay off in the long run.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because me quitting, and even with the GED, it's not been easy.
Mhm.
All
Mhm.
areas. And of course, nowadays, if you don't have a degree of some sort, it's even hard to get into the fire service.
Wow.
Uh, and we make jokes in the fire service all the time. I haven't seen a degree or a piece of paper put out a fire. And it's really simple. You put water on the fire and it goes
Yeah.
out, but there's a lot more to it nowadays
Mhm.
because we understand the science of it.
Mhm.
But it's gotten to that point in our world that if you don't have a degree, it's hard to get
It's
anywhere.
hard.
And even
Yeah.
sometimes with the degree,
Yep.
it's hard to get
You
some.
got that right.
But I'll go back and say that. And as far as my grandmother died, um,
Because that was like one of it seems like that was one of the toughest seasons of your life.
it was.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
what would I say? Don't really know how
Mhm.
to answer that.
Yeah.
Um, because the place I was in at the time, you know, and I blame God. You know,
Sure. As we often do.
why'd you let this happen?
Yeah.
Why'd you take her from me?
Mhm.
Um, it's not God's fault
Yeah.
by no means.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, she's a whole lot better place.
Mhm.
Uh, she wasn't suffering anymore, and all that good stuff. But it just looking back at it now, I think it developed me in some ways and gave me
Mhm.
some opportunities that otherwise
Sure.
wouldn't happen,
Yeah.
like getting into church.
Mhm.
And I do credit my grandmother for instilling that part of in me.
Sure.
No matter how it happened, I can look
Mhm.
back and I can see some things now and she was not the type that, if the Bible says this,
Yeah.
she was a very easygoing woman.
Mhm.
She loved people, and she would just subtly implant things in you.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
wasn't forceful. She didn't get on to you. Now she had her moments like everybody else. I mean, she got mad.
Yeah.
But and I use the example of my wife Kathy. When we started dating, I introduced her to her, and it's like family. And that's the
Wow.
type she was. Once she met you,
That
you
was
was
it.
family. She told Kathy one time, she says, if you're hungry, there's food in the refrigerator. If
Mhm.
you're thirsty, stuff in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You leave here thirsty and hungry, it's your own fault. And that's the way she was. She would open her
Sure.
mouth. Now,
Sure.
of course, she wouldn't meet those folks that she didn't like. And if she didn't like, there wasn't a question whether she liked her or not.
Okay. Okay.
But she wasn't harsh
Mhm.
with
Mhm.
the way that she instilled stuff
Yeah.
in me.
But
So
God used her in your life to really, and then even in the sadness of the situation with the sickness and her passing, that was a gateway for God to really grab hold to your heart and pull you in.
yes, yeah. Because this woman she was tough. She was tough. She worked at a textile mill
Mm,
up until she got to where she could. She worked
okay.
12-hour shifts, come home, worked in the yard till she couldn't see outside. And
Wow.
within a year, she got to where she couldn't even hold out 12 hours
Mm-hmm.
working.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
you talking about a strong woman going to basically nothing.
Wow.
But I look back now, I see a lot of things that
Mm-hmm.
it was for the good.
Yeah. All for the good. All
Yeah,
things work together. That's the scripture
yes,
that we quote. All things work together for the good of those that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. Wow. Wow. Well, because I want you to share with us, um, just a lesson that you've learned looking back over the journey of your life. What's a takeaway that keeps you where you are, that keeps you focused on what God has for you and your journey ahead? And then anything else that you want to share. But what's one thing, if you, from childhood to now, that you have taken away from your experience?
I guess the biggest thing is patience.
Mm.
And that's a tricky thing. Be
Yeah,
careful about praying for patience, because you will get what you ask for.
that's right.
But over the years, it's patience. And I have learned that instead of Corky, or I say Corky's my nickname in case none of y'all have picked up on that. My wife saying that at church. But instead of me trying to make things happen, okay, God, you told me you wanted me to do this or do this, and I go and I try to make it happen, or I try to put it in my own hands and try to do it. Even though God is giving me something, just sit back and trust in the Lord and let Him do it through me instead of me trying to make things happen.
Wow.
Just put it in God's hands.
Put it in God's hands. That's amazing. That's for all of you who are joined in, tuned in. I hope that you've been enjoying Pastor Carlton's story. Thank you for opening up your life to our audience. And I know this is going to help someone. And if you can, as we're winding down here, you shared, don't give up, keep going. Is there any other tidbits that you can give to someone who maybe they're experiencing, they've had that encounter with God, they've heard God, they've saw God, something, and they know that there's a call on their life, but they really don't know where to go, what to do with that? Because I know when I was called at 13, I just held on to it. I held on to it. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell anybody what I saw, what I heard. I just held on to it. And then later God used people to identify the call of my life where I had to come out of my shell. So what would you say to that young man that's, sort of going down the wrong path? Seems like he's messing up his life, but he knows that there's something different. There's something that's on me. Or to that young woman that's headed down the wrong path, or doing things that they, shouldn't be doing, but they know that there's something on their life that's different. What would you say to them?
Well, if they're saved and they know God and they feel like God's trying to tell them something, my first thought was pray. Pray on it constantly. Pray on it. God will reveal His calling to you.
Yeah.
And just because He tells me this way doesn't mean that He's going to tell you the same exact way.
Exactly. Yep.
Everybody's calling is personal. It's individualized. So is your confirmation.
Yeah.
But you get to pray about it. Pray about it. Go to, the second thing would be go to your pastor. Go to a deacon or elder or somebody in the church that you can confide in and tell them. I wouldn't go, this is going to sound harsh, and forgive me. I wouldn't go to somebody who's only been in the church or have been saved like a couple of years. That's kind of on your same level. Because even though they mean well, they can misguide you.
Yep, that's real good.
And at that point, you may or may not be mature enough in the Word of God to realize, well, I don't need to do that.
Yeah.
I don't need to follow in that particular area.
Absolutely.
So you need to find somebody in the church. Hopefully and prayerfully, you've got a pastor over your church that can support you and guide you and get you the resources you need to start that journey.
Yeah.
Running from, and everybody I've ever talked to, I run from, and it's a natural reaction to run from it. But it's only delaying a lot of blessings that you can't even imagine in the long run that you're going to get out of it. But yeah, pray about it. Seek somebody in the church, preferably an elder, a deacon, or your pastor, that can support you, to give you and lead you in the right direction.
Yeah, that's real good.
And another thing in my later years, I'm learning, if somebody says something to you or gives you advice, look it up. Look it up. A lot of times we tend to want to hear people instead of going to the word and look. It's in there.
It's in there.
Your guidance is in the word.
Yeah.
You know, the time before I kind of stumbled on it and did something I didn't realize I did at the time. But when I spoke at church on that Wednesday night, I held up my Bible. I said, "This is how I fight my battles."
Wow.
And it kind of called on some people. And I still have people say, "Yeah, this is how I fight my battles."
Yeah.
You know, kind of cliche, but that's how we fight our battles.
That's
if you
it.
don't know the word, if you don't get in there and dig for yourself and know what it says, it's easy to be misled.
Absolutely.
So, you know, all that combined has got to, but don't run, pray about it, find somebody to talk to, and go get in the word and get your backing.
Yeah.
You know,
that's amazing. That's amazing. Listen, don't give up. Keep going, keep focused, because wherever you are, God has more for you. And I hope you all enjoyed this as much as I did, talking to Pastor Carlton Flora as he shared his story, opened up his life to us, and gave us some really good nuggets to hold on to. So wherever you may be in life, or maybe there's some parents that are listening and your children just seem to be going the opposite way of where the Lord would have them, keep praying for them, keep encouraging them. Don't Bible thump them, but love them because God's hand is on their life. And when you raise up a child in the way that they should go, when they are old, they won't depart from it. So we want to say thank you, Pastor Carlton, for joining us on the Pastor Jenice Podcast. It has been a pleasure, sir.
Well, thank you for letting me be shared. Thank you for letting me be on it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I want you to hold tight real quick, Pastor Carlton. But for those of you who are listening, we want you to go and subscribe to the Pastor Jenice Podcast. As soon as we're done live here, we will upload the audio. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeart, Amazon, Podbean, you name it. Make sure you go subscribe and make sure you stay in touch and in tune with what we're going on. We have some awesome individuals coming up this week and next week, more powerful testimonies, but I pray that you are encouraged by this. Make sure you tap in, stay connected with me, jeniceborges.org. We have some awesome things coming up. If you are prophet or prophetic or just interested in knowing more and growing in the prophetic, we want you to connect with us. We're doing prophetic intensives monthly. We have coaching programs. So I want you to be connected. So go to jeniceborges.org /journey. If you're interested in just chatting with me, and we could set up a time just to talk about what you are interested in. And we have a program, we have teachings and things for you. So we want you to tap in. Listen, I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Join us Friday. We will be on Friday at 2 p.m. Speaking with someone else, sharing their testimony. It's going to be powerful. Again, we appreciate Pastor Carlton and thank him for joining. Until next time, guys.
Thank you for joining Pastor Jenice. Take time to visit the website jeniceborges.org and subscribe for our newsletter. Check out our available courses, books, and other resources. Please consider supporting our global missions projects. We will see you next week for more faith and inspiration.